Independent rear suspension, dual shocks, and a sway bar. Rick, it's all there.
That's good, because when things get rough out there, suspension is everything.
Other manufacturers use a straight axle that bounces over obstacles, losing traction. Our independent rear suspension hugs the terrain for better traction and a smoother ride. The Sportsman 500 and the all-new Sportsman 335 with shaft drive.
You gotta ride it to believe it.
At Jerry's Equipment in Sonoma.
That was Train Town at the speed of sound.
Tonight at 7.
Getaway? Please join us for the 9th Annual Redwood Coast Dixieland Jazz Festival in Eureka, March 26th, 27th, and 28th, with special guests Maria Muldaur, LaVey Smith and her Red Hot Skillet Lickers,
Baby, baby, what's the matter with you?
and the Dynatones. 3 days of jazz, zydeco, rhythm and blues, and swing. Visit our website at www.redwoodjazz.org or charge your tickets by phone, 707-445-3378.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ed Bebout and Shanna Franklin bring you all the North Bay news. Weeknights on KFTY 50 News at 7.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kevin McCullough, and this morning's business headlines this Thursday, March 25th. Bargain hunters out in full force in Asia overnight. Stocks in Tokyo surged more than 3%. Memory chip maker Micron Technology reports a profit climbing out of a 5-quarter slump. And Operation Allied Force heads into day 2 after NATO pounds Yugoslavia in a first wave of airstrikes. All indications are the bombing blitz on the southern Serbian province of Kosovo will continue today if Yugoslav President Slobodan Milosevic doesn't back down and accept a peace deal. On Wednesday, President Clinton took his case to the nation, trying to convince the public that Kosovo's crisis is America's battle.
Toward neighboring countries. Kosovo's crisis now is full-blown. And if we do not act, clearly it will get even worse. Only firmness now can prevent greater catastrophe later.
The NATO attack began as night fell in Yugoslavia. B-52 bombers fired cruise missiles, and the stealth bombers saw their first combat action. There were dogfights in the skies over Kosovo, and some Serb planes may have been shot down, but there are no reported Allied casualties. The Pentagon is now using the daylight to assess the damage inflicted on the region so far. Investors in Asia are bargain hunting, helping the region's markets to rebound after a steep sell-off. And joining us from London with that and the rest of the overseas news is Heather Scott. Morning, Heather.
Morning, Kevin. Well, investors in Asia were quick to reverse Wednesday's steep falls. Blue chip shares were the main beneficiaries of the bounce back. In Tokyo, traders say much of the buying was by foreign investors. And that's a recent trend there that just keeps on growing. Now, the Nikkei jumped more than 3% by the close. In Hong Kong, some of the same spirit was there. The Hang Seng added 114 points. Well, here in Europe, markets are acting with relief to stable markets in Asia and New York, even after NATO's airstrikes on Kosovo. In London, the FTSE is up 33. In Paris, the CAC 40 is up 5. And in Frankfurt, the DAX is up 35, while the Xetra is up 15. In corporate news, could the Global One alliance between Deutsche Telekom, France Telecom and Sprint be on its way out? Well, a report in the New York Times says the alliance could dissolve within 6 weeks. Analysts say that could leave Sprint free to be acquired or let Deutsche Telekom seek international acquisitions. Now, the trio banded together in 1996 in an effort to bring global telecom services to multinational corporations. Some analysts say Global One hasn't made any money. Still, there is a small chance it could be salvaged. Deutsche Telekom's trading up 1.7%, France Telecom down 0.5%. And more in the telecom world, Ericsson is expected to unveil further details of a deal to buy Qualcomm's wireless infrastructure business, including the rights to jointly develop future variations of a kind of digital technology known as CDMA. Well, the San Diego-based Qualcomm is the best-known CDMA manufacturer. Ericsson and Qualcomm say together that they would develop a version of the technology that can accommodate all three of the world's major competing wireless technologies. Well, at this hour, Ericsson shares up 5.7%. Okay, to the credit markets now, and the U.S. long bond is up 2 ticks, the yield at 5.52%. Well, on the currency markets, the dollar is mixed on the major currencies. Gold opened down 65 cents, and oil is expected to open lower. Well, you're up to date now. Back to you.
Thanks, Heather. Heather Scott in London. On Wall Street, attention once again on technology stocks. That sector may help turn the market on after taking on some big gains yesterday. After the market closed yesterday, Micron Technology posted better than expected results. The chip maker said second quarter profits came in at 8 cents a share, well above estimates of a penny. Revenues were up from a year ago, topping $1 billion. The results could indicate that the worst memory chip downturn in a decade is now easing. On today's economic agenda, the Labor Department reports new claims for unemployment benefits in the week ended last Saturday, and the National Association of Realtors reports on existing home sales in February. Now, as for Wednesday, NATO's launch of airstrikes on Yugoslavia had no apparent effect on the market as stocks attempted to rebound with a late-day rally after one of the street's savviest forecasters, Abby Joseph Cohen, upped her price target on stocks. But when all was said and done, the Dow Industrials ended down about 5 points. S&P 500 managed a 6.5-point gain. NASDAQ was the big winner. Composite index rallied more than 42 points, reversing a steep sell-off on Tuesday. Taking a look at business headlines on a Thursday morning, CBS could be staking a bigger claim in Cyberland. CEO Mel Carbazin says the company plans to announce more online ventures in the near future. CBS already owns parts of 2 website companies which recently went public, MarketWatch.com and Sportsline USA. Carbazin doesn't rule out the possibility of CBS spinning off its internet holdings into a separate company. He also says CBS investors should expect a pretty good first quarter. The states suing Microsoft say the company's peace offering looks more like a pipe dream, I should say. The 19 states which have joined the federal government in its antitrust suit say the software giant's proposal to settle the case falls short. On Wednesday, Microsoft's Bill Gates said any settlement would have to preserve the company's ability to innovate the Windows operating system. The state officials are expected to meet today to consider the informal offer more closely. Flight attendants at America West Airlines flying high this morning. They got their first look at a new 5-year, $80 million labor contract yesterday. The contract calls for significant raises and benefits while averting a strike at the 9th largest carrier in the nation. Contract must still be ratified by the union's rank-and-file flight attendants. Airline named after the flightless bird is grounded this morning following an order by federal regulators to stop flying. The FAA says Kiwi Airlines is unable or unwilling to fly with top safety standards. The discount carrier filed for a Chapter 11 bankruptcy on Tuesday, but said Pan American Airlines would give it $3 million to allow it to fly its current schedule. Kiwi serves Florida and New Jersey. More in a moment. We'll be right back. Oh, I should continue. Much more ahead on this morning's business. Next, we'll have a look at today's stocks to watch. Plus, earnings season will soon be in full swing again. We'll take a look at what sectors are expected to do well.
Lincoln Mercury and Ford dealers have factory-trained technicians, genuine Ford parts, and now everyday low prices on the services you need most. Motorcraft shocks for cars are now just $69 or less per pair installed. On Ford light-duty trucks, just $99 or less per pair installed. The right people, the right parts, and always the right prices. Quality care service at participating Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers.
At your service, quality care. I hope I see you there. Gateway talks to 50,000 people a day. We've learned that you need a PC that lets you be who you want to be. Call, click, or come in. Get a Gateway Essential PC with an Intel Celeron processor, and we'll give you a year on the internet.
Stop. Don't pay retail prices for your computer needs. Come to the Computer Show and Sale
this Saturday in Santa Rosa.
So you can't go to any other one place and find this many different products.
The Computer Show and Sale is your computer products headquarters. Hardware, software. To see the latest computers, multimedia games, and accessories, and learn about the internet and the World Wide Web.
This Saturday at the Sonoma Country.
Ready for a fun getaway? Please join us for the 9th Annual Redwood Coast Dixieland Jazz Festival in Eureka, March 26th, 27th, and 28th, with special guests Maria Muldaur, LaVey Smith and her Red Hot Skillet Lickers,
Baby, baby, what's the matter with you?
and the Dynatones. 3 days of jazz, zydeco, rhythm and blues, and swing. Visit our website at www.redwoodjazz.org or charge your tickets by phone, 707-445-3378.
Boy, the way the Chryslers ran.
I love the Jeep and the Plymouth minivan.
In a Sebring you'd get a tan. Those were the days.
Oh, Peter, remember when we sold the 1999 Jeep Grand Cherokee for only $24,999?
And we gave top dollar for their trade. Gee, our customers had it made. Those were the days.
At Zumwalt McGreeny Chrysler Plymouth Jeep.
On the original Automobile Road.
Among stocks to watch today, SCI Systems. The company is warning of lower earnings for its fiscal third quarter, citing weak market conditions for PC products. The electronics manufacturer says it expects earnings will fall below the current estimate of 50 cents a share. Ahead of the profit warning, SCI finished down fractionally at 35 7/16. Cascade shares may trade lower today after falling short of Wall Street estimates for its fourth quarter. The maker of lift truck attachments says its profits came in at 24 cents a share. The latest numbers are up better than 50% from its year-earlier results, but fall 6 cents shy of estimates. Sales fell 8% during the period. Ahead of the earnings news, the stock finished down 9/16 at 9 15/16. Shares of O'Sullivan Industries may get some attention this morning. Late yesterday, this furniture maker announced its senior management group made a buyout bid for the company. While the dollar amount of the offer was not disclosed, the company's CFO said that it was currently considering other offers as well. O'Sullivan has hired the investment banking firm Solomon Smith Barney to explore its options. Before the late news, O'Sullivan fell fractionally, closed at 12 5/8, trading right in the middle of its 52-week range. Keep your eye on shares of Duramed Pharmaceuticals when they resume trading today. Well after the close of the market, the drug company said it received FDA approval to market its Senestin tablets. The new estrogen product has been approved for the treatment of hot flashes and other symptoms associated with menopause. Before being halted in late trading, the stock closed up fractionally at $7 a share. Well, blame it on corporate earnings. Worries about the earnings in companies ranging from banks to high-tech to beverages have sent the Dow Jones Industrials down over 300 points in recent days. Greg Miles takes a look now into whether things are as bad as they seem.
Big concerns about corporate earnings have given the stock market a big slap backwards, just days before the first quarter reporting season kicks off in April. So, how concerned should investors be about earnings?
Right now we're in a part of the earnings cycle or the quarter where the bad news is coming out. It'll be another couple weeks before we start to see good news, and I think the good news will eventually overshadow the bad news.
And earnings seem to be improving. After lousy performance for most of 1998, profits of the S&P 500 stocks did a lot better in the fourth quarter. Aided by the booming U.S. economy, profits grew by 6%, and analysts expect them to do even better in the first quarter, growing by 6.5%. A number of industries are doing extremely well, thank you, including domestic-oriented sectors like apparel retailing, home construction, and home furnishing. Also looking good are high-tech industries like software and semiconductor chips. So, what's bugging investors enough to drive the market down? One big reason may be that investors' expectations for earnings performance may be way too high. Jack Cunningham says that problem exists only with a small number of companies.
I think Wall Street's expectations for a select group of stocks are a little bit high. The market has been very narrow, as we all know, to the extent that some of these stocks that have really led the market over the past year and a half weaken. That will not bode well for the overall market.
He argues that stock prices will rise for many industries as investors uncover stocks with good and more realistic earnings growth. But statistics show that Americans are paying record premiums for a broad range of stocks, thus created excessive expectations. In 1997, stock prices set a new record, selling at 18.5 times forecasted earnings. Since then, prices have soared even higher, and stocks today are selling at 24.5 times estimated earnings.
Corporate earnings face other challenges. Wall Street analysts are forecasting that earnings will grow by 16.5% in 1999. But several experts say that earnings won't get anywhere near that. Greg Miles, This Morning's Business.
And joining us now for more on the markets, Charles Johnson, head trader of the equity group at Blaylock & Partners. Good morning, Charles.
Good morning.
Before we get into some particulars, let me get your market overview. Dow 10,000 seems to be moving further away. What's the outlook?
Well, I think that, you know, as I said before, once we get to these even numbers, we seem to have trouble getting through. But I think ultimately, and I think it's probably going to be sooner than people anticipate now that we start to move back away, we'll get through 10,000. I mean, but 10,000 was a signal for folks to do some selling and to do some rethinking about what they thought about the environment going forward.
Okay, well, assume you've been doing some rethinking on that same subject. Let's talk about what sectors in the market you like, and then we'll get into particulars.
Well, you know, we still like financial stocks, particularly banks, because we think that that consolidation theme is going to continue. And you've got to continue to grow bigger to meet the competition. We also think that some of the telecommunication stocks are obviously an area to be looked at. We saw a combination earlier this week with Comcast adding some folks to the cable industry, so the cable industry looks good. And you know, the automobile industry, we like some of the automobile stocks here.
Okay, well, within the telecoms, any of the particular ones we can talk about here?
Well, you know, we've looked at the market here, and we like WorldCom. It still looks good. And telephone, I mean, they did a tremendous job with this bond issue they just did the other day. $8 billion bond issue was well received. We think telephone's a place that you can put some money in. And
yeah, AT&T certainly seems to have turned around its fortunes. It was a year or so ago that people were dumping on it.
Well, a year or so ago, everybody thought that these were the guys who they had lost their way.
Right.
And they've become very, very competitive here recently. They obviously have found their way, and things look very, very nice for them.
Another company that's on your list, USEC, which I hadn't heard of before. USU is the symbol for people who want to punch it up. What do they do, and then why do you like them?
Well, USEC is the privatization which took place last July of the government uranium business, and they're the largest leader of uranium enrichment. This offering allowed them to have a very strong balance sheet. They have a backlog of long-term contracts, large free cash flows. The offering was at 14.25. The stock's now at 13.25. Trade as high as 16 5/16. There's a special arrangement with the government for enriching, for taking warheads and lowering the enrichment level to the point where it's utility fuel. They've got tremendous technology which is expected to be online in 2005, which reduces the power necessary to enrich the uranium. And in fact, we look at it to be like a $19 to $20 stock within the next 12 months.
Okay, USEC's the name. Charles Johnson is his name. He's with Blaylock & Partners. And still a lot ahead on this edition of This Morning's Business. It may feel like the market's on a roller coaster ride going up and down faster than ever, but it all may be just an illusion to investors. We'll explain in today's cover story coming up next. First, here's a look at the most active stocks on the Amex.
You're watching someone register a .com. Your .com is your identity, your name on the internet. Thousands of new .coms are registered every day, so get yours now. Registering is easy, fast, and very thrilling.
All right.
Call 1-800-556-8948 or visit Network Solutions.
I love this. This is what college basketball is all about. State and Tech are tied. Williams going to the line.
as you talk about pressure.
It's Nissan's Tournament Time sales event. Your big chance to get a great deal on a 99 Nissan. Like $2,000 cash back on the powerful 190 horsepower Nissan Maxima. Or $1,500 cash back on the remarkably sophisticated Nissan Altima. So drop whatever you're doing because the Tournament Time sales event ends March 31st.
Why the market cycles seem to change so fast. Coming up in just 90 seconds.
Spring is here. The meter is running during the Chrysler and Plymouth Spring Clearance Minutes. A spring celebration of big savings going on now. Right now through March 31st, select buyers with preferred credit get $0 down with no payments for 6 months. Or 0% short-term APR financing on all new Chrysler and Plymouth minivans. Or $1,000 cash allowance. But hurry, $0 down or 0% APR expires March 31st at your Northern California Chrysler and Plymouth dealer.
Come to Burlington Coat Factory's grand opening in Rohnert Park and discover how easy it is to afford famous designer clothes, terrific menswear, super kids clothes, plus designer shoes, fabulous linens and home furnishings, and the best baby furniture and accessories. So come celebrate the grand opening savings at today's Burlington Coat Factory. We're more than great coats.
My mama told me you better shop around.
North Bay, it's happening full force at Hansel Ford. Main Event 6. It's the ultimate battle for number 1 on the 101. Hansel's determined to make this our 5th victory. New vehicle sales are bringing in lots of great trades. Hansel's knocking down prices hundreds to thousands below the original price on every one. You've got to see what Hansel's got. Get unbelievable 2.9 financing. Yes, 2.9 on used. Construction's nearly complete and the auto giant is bigger and better than ever. Main Event 6. Hansel's determined to win. Hurry before the final bell.
Stay with us for weather, traffic, and news from the North Bay on KFTY 50 Morning, followed by Bodies in Motion and Basic Training, the workout. All ahead, right here on KFTY 50.
How quickly the market can turn around. Only days ago, the Dow moved above 10,000, at least during the day. And now we're about 330 points lower. Are the market's ups and downs occurring more rapidly than they used to? Welcome back, everyone. We all know that the market's trading in a higher range than ever before, so big point moves up and down aren't really that big in percentage terms. But for some investors, it may seem like a mirage. Alan Chernoff has more on the market cycles in this morning's cover story.
The Dow falls 200 points, and we wonder, is the market moving faster than ever? If you measure it by major indices, the answer is no.
Several hundred-point swing in the Dow Jones Industrial Average is 2%. 2% is just not a great deal.
Let's use the S&P 500, a broader measure than the Dow 30. There have been 4 corrections greater than 10% over the past 3 years. In each case, the time from peak to bottom and back to a new breakout was at least 2 months. First, mid-1996. The S&P hit a high of 676 on July 1st, the circle on the left. It fell to a low of 605 on July 16th, and it took until September 13th to break through, a correction and recovery of 10.5% in 2.5 months. On February 19th of 1997, the S&P stood at 818. The index fell 10.4% by April 14th, then jumped back, breaking through at 830 on May 5th, again about 2.5 months.
What I call a significant intermediate correction in the bull market are occurring almost precisely at average duration, and they last about 3 months, which is the norm and has been the norm almost this century.
A decline of 13% took place in October of 1997. The peak came on October 8th, the low on October 28th, and on December 5th, we were back where we started. It's typical for the recovery to take about twice as long as the decline. And last year's big drop, a peak on July 20th at 1190, a low on October 8th at 923, and then an intraday recovery to 1191 on November 24th, though it didn't break out until December 21st, the final circle on the right at 1202, a typical cup and saucer pattern. That 22.4% correction and recovery took 4 months. Alan Chernoff, This Morning's Business, New York.
And more to come on this morning's business. Find out what well-known restaurant may soon be offering an IPO on its menu. But first, a look at the most active stocks on the NASDAQ.
Hi, I'm Steve. This is Kathy.
Oh, and we just love Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
We come here every day, just hoping he'll make an appearance of some sort. Excuse me. Could you send out Tony when you see him?
Tony who?
Oh, come on. Frosted Flakes are about so much more than just great taste. I mean, there's that, and then there's Tony, Then there's the frosting, and then there's Tony.
All right. Take a picture.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
He looks different.
I think that's a woman.
You're right.
Yeah.
They're great.
Now 100% of the people can get on the internet. When you buy a Gateway Essential PC with an Intel Celeron processor starting at $1,299, we'll give you a year on the internet. Call, click, or come in. We know the internet is calling you.
Play Stuff at Pizza Hut. We'll deliver the details up next. Stay tuned.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Alcohol abuse shatters lives.
St. Helena helps put them back together.
For help with alcohol or drug abuse, call St. Helena Health Center in the Napa Valley, 1-800-454-HOPE.
Just go to KFTY.com. You can book the best plane fare, make a hotel reservation, look up the latest stock quotes, find a great deal on a car, buy your dream home, hire a good plumber, get your car fixed. Just go to KFTY.com and look for me.
North Bay, it's happening full force at Hansel Ford. Main Event 6. It's the ultimate battle for number 1 on the 101. Hansel's determined to make this our 5th victory. New vehicle sales are bringing in lots of great trades. Hansel's knocking down prices hundreds to thousands below the original price on every one. You've got to see what Hansel's got. Get unbelievable 2.9 financing. Yes, 2.9 on used. Construction's nearly complete and the auto giant is bigger and better than ever. Main Event 6. Hansel's determined to win. Hurry before the final bell.
The next time you call for a pizza, you may not only be choosing a topping, but also a toy. In an effort to woo kids away from fast food burgers, Pizza Hut will start offering a novelty item along with its pies for 99 cents. The company says its market research shows kids choose the restaurant 34% of the time and are consulted in the decision 91% of the time. Well, from fast food to one of the toughest segments in the $360 billion a year restaurant sector, premium dining. And while it can be quite lucrative, it also has the most at stake. And this morning we learn about one company's plans to beef up its position nationwide. Our own galloping gourmet, Mike Hegedus, has the garnish on Smith & Wollensky.
Everyone looks for something different when they go out for fine dining. Fulfilling all those requests is the challenge facing restaurateurs like Alan Stillman. His New York restaurant group owns and operates a total of 12 upscale dining establishments, which grossed over $130 million last year. Their portfolio includes a bistro and a progressive American restaurant, but the meat of their operation is in
dry-aged, top prime steak, aged on the premises
of 5 restaurants called Smith & Wollensky.
And the reason it works is the same reason that the Four Seasons hotel chain works. When you go from one city to another, if you call up the Four Seasons Hotel and that, you know what to expect, you know what to get, and you know that you're going to get the quality city after city, time after time. If we can't get repeat customers, we're out of business. We do a lot of marketing, a lot of advertising, a lot of public relations, but the name of the game in the high end of the restaurant business is to treat the customer right so that you can get them back.
Since the brand was born in New York City in 1977, others have sprouted up in Miami Beach, New Orleans, Las Vegas, and Chicago. Each new city must be able to fuel 50% of its business from local traffic, the rest from a strong mix of tourists and business travelers. Stillman is quick to attribute their success to large portions, familiar waiters, and...
We've been doing full-page advertising in many international and national magazines and newspapers for 25 years.
With a clearly identified 75% male clientele, targeted marketing has been a breeze. Forbes, Fortune, and Gulf Digest have been the home to their ads since the beginning. Ads featuring homegrown waiters and offering a glimpse of something you don't normally see in restaurants.
If you've seen our advertising for our Las Vegas property, you'll see Lopez and 3 other of the waiters, and they're topless, and they have neckties on, which means something like, well, we lost our shirts in Las Vegas. But I tend to think of it as, well, these are our Las Vegas showgirls. They're the Smith-Wollensky showgirls.
Now that they've taken their waiters' chests public, the next step is to take the company public. An IPO to pay off debt and fuel expansion is planned within the next 18 months.
The industry is replete with examples of people who've rushed into public markets and have just basically fallen flat on their face. I don't think this would be the case for New York Restaurant Group, though.
Either way, they're certainly concerned with putting their best something forward. It's just not their foot. Mike Hegedus, This Morning's Business.
If you're thinking about what to do on your next vacation, here's something to consider. A U.S. appeals court has ruled that the company holding exclusive salvage rights to the Titanic cannot prevent sightseeing tours of the shipwreck. The court reversed an earlier ruling that gave viewing and photography rights to RMS Titanic, Inc. So there you are. Take a trip. That's it for this edition of This Morning's Business. I'm Kevin McCullough. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you again bright and early right here tomorrow morning.
Viacom.
Tonight at 8 on KFTY 50.